And now, people are starting to spill the beans. Because we are now told about a story, something that happened, which we all saw very clear evidence of. We are now being told the story of how Rigathi Gachagua plotted, kumaliza kabisa Raila Amolo Odinga. Okay? And the person who has come out with this story is telling us that he can produce evidence. He has evidence. And then Gracei, the Shah activist, the Shisha shoe activist, is arrested in a most brutal manner. And what this very sick woman has gone through, many Kenyans have sympathized with her. But clearly, there are people who are looking at this very differently. Because she was held at a police station, Capitol Hill Police Station, all attempts by her lawyers to get a cash bail to release her failed. And she was held overnight. And then the next day, instead of being arraigned in court, she was actually given the cash bail. She had been denied the day before. Clearly, somebody wanted to punish this sick woman. That is all happening in our country called Kenya. What? And then that phrase has come again from the mouth of President Ruto. We first heard it when he was on the campaign trail. Yeah, you remember. Somebody from the crowd answered him back, and he completely lost it. And as the then deputy president raged, he said, "Wewe unanijibu kama nani?" That phrase came up again a few days ago when the president talked very angrily about some people criticizing him. And then he posed the same question. Wananijibu kama nani? Who are they? Okay? Now, of course, I'm sure we all realize what the trouble with this phrase is when you're a politician. Because the people who have employed you are the common mwananchi, the rest of the country. And their leaders, if they say something to you, you can never ever one day respond. Mnanijibu kama nani? Loosely translated, it is, how dare you answer back at me? Who are you? Who are you? That is what it is. And indeed, I believe the only person who can speak back to their subjects like that may be a king. Somebody who has inherited the throne. The throne has been in their families many centuries, but not an elected leader. Even if you're elected to the highest office in the land. And I believe this gives us a very clear glimpse of how President Ruto looks at Kenyans. What he thinks of Kenyans. In my opinion, it has come out very clearly in that phrase. Mnanijibu kama nani? Of course, the simple response is, tunakujibu kama wale wamekuandika. We're responding as your employers. You are our employee. And I believe that is a most ideal theme for our show today. Yeah, we shall call it, They Just Don't Get It. Okay, because so many people in Kenya just don't get it. Including we the wananchi. Including we who are fighting for a better Kenya. We just don't get it. And I'm going to prove it to you conclusively, shortly, on my show today. A very warm welcome. And maybe we should start with the obvious. Those who deliberately decided to punish sickly Gracei, the lion of Shashishu, or the activist, don't get it. Okay, that one is easy to see. Whenever the President of the Republic of Kenya, with all his power, with all his state machinery, responds back to the people who have employed him, and angrily poses the question, Munanijibu kama nani? He doesn't get it. He doesn't. Now you'll need to be a bit patient, and I will come to the sensational Gachagua assassination plot. Okay, it is really very simple. And I'm sure I'll shock most of you. Yeah, just be patient. There is something else we need to get out of the way. Yeah. Now we the people, the ordinary people of Kenya, we also don't get it. Okay? How so? And this is a very sensitive issue, I know. Because the subject of President Trump has divided the rest of us right down the middle, just like it has in the United States of America. And it is more than interesting that despite the fact that I said, on this channel, I predicted that the presidency of Donald Trump is going to speed up tremendously the exit of William Samoei Ruto from power in Kenya. I said that. And despite saying that, there are still some people who are so emotional about this whole issue. They still don't get it. Or shall I quote Kagwe? They still don't get it. They don't. I beg to repeat that we live in very dangerous times, which may become even more dangerous if we're going to analyze our things in a shallow manner. We will just be making things even more dangerous, deadly, for ourselves. Now I can already hear somebody shooting back and asking me, Kumekucha, when Trump denies funds to key world organizations, and it affects Kenyans, especially the health sector, how can you honestly say that that is good for Kenya? Glad you asked. It's really very simple. In my opinion, and in the opinion of many, Africa does not need aid. What Africa needs is to be left alone to control her resources. Period. And in my opinion, when somebody in Washington is saying America first, America only, what that means is that even the resources they want from us, a deal has to be made. What are we getting in return? We can negotiate. As opposed to the current situation, where you come and you take our resources, and then you say it is okay, because you're going to babysit us, provide everything, but meanwhile you're taking our resources. But you do not want to do a calculations of the real market value of the resources you're taking. But you're being so generous, in quotes, that you want to take care of us as you take care of our resources. I don't think that is a good deal. Anyway, I believe that I may be naive, but not that naive. Because at least I know that what is at play here is something called emotions. You know, when emotions come into an issue, it is very difficult for somebody to see anything else other than their emotions. If, for instance, you hate Donald Trump so much, it is impossible to see the advantages, even if it means Kasongo going home earlier than you'd others have gone, you still don't see. Okay? So let's just leave it there, because everybody has a right to their opinion. Okay? It is your constitutional right. Okay? Anyway, let us now get into the meat of my show today. The big thing that a vast majority of Kenyans, 99%, are not seeing. And indeed it is very important to see. If one, want to predict what's going to happen next, and two, if we want to be careful to get out of the way as much as possible. Unajua ndovu zikipigana ni nyasi umia. When two big African elephants fight, the one who gets hurt the most is the vegetation, the grass they're trampling on. And to ensure that I drive home this point effectively, allow me to start with a story. There was this country which was under attack. Okay? There were more than 2 armies lined up against them. Indeed, the leader of this country looked at the army surrounding his country, and he got scared. He had fear. in him. Now you know when your leader has fear, really you're finished. If you're in a home and you're a son or a daughter and your dad is scared, you're finished. You're done and dusted, really. And so, this is a real life story. Yeah, this is not fiction. It actually happened. The king in question was a king called Jehoshaphat. And there was a major army lined up against him of Moabites and Ammonites and others. And that army was too mighty, too great for him to handle. For his kingdom of Judah to handle. Yeah, it's in the Bible. And it's not a fable. Anyway, in the end, King Jehoshaphat won. But I want you to pay careful attention to how he won. What happened is that the armies which were marching against Judah started fighting each other. And we are told they attacked each other and finished each other completely, till there was nobody left. The way I interpret that is that the last two men left standing were very badly injured, and one finished off the other, but he was already so injured that he got finished himself shortly after. Completely wiped out. Yeah? Now, clearly, this is a strategy of the Ancient of Days, which we see many, many times if you read the good book. Now let's come back to Kenyan politics. And if you're standing, you'd better sit down for this one. I'm not kidding. Now the way this thing started is that a man called President Uhuru Kenyatta was very close to William Samoei Ruto, was very close to a man called Jimmy Wanjigi. Yeah, these three were operating together. And the three of them had secrets. Some of these secrets, very dangerous secrets. None of the three would ever like to get out. Okay? And then of course on this other side was we, the long-suffering people of Kenya. Then what happened? Ruto started fighting Uhuru. You will remember after BBI, especially after BBI. And Ruto gave us many, many secrets of the Kenyatta family and of Uhuru Kenyatta. And then Ruto was very much together with a man called Gachagua. And the two did a lot of crazy, crazy things together. Yeah, and some of these secrets, of course, were deadly. And then what happened? They fell out. So Gachagua started fighting Ruto. And the very latest bombshell is this thing which has come from Oscar Sudi, that actually Gachagua plotted to assassinate Raila Odinga. Now, just hold your horses for a minute. When Gachagua was planning this thing, on whose camp was he? Was he alone? Of course not. He was very close to William Samoei Ruto. And therefore, it is simple logic that they were doing it together. It is very simple logic that the task was assigned to Gachagua. You take care of this while I take care of that. And therefore, there is no way you can absolve Ruto from anything you want to accuse Gachagua of when he was deputy president and in Ruto's good books. You cannot do that. How? Please show me how. Okay? And it doesn't end there. Meanwhile, somebody called Jimmy Wanjigi started getting very busy shortly after Ruto came into power, exposing Ruto's secrets, exposing Uhuru Ruto secrets, yeah, especially to do with these loans that were taken. And many of those huge loans which we are still paying for today did not even arrive at our treasury. I'm sure you remember that. And it does not end there. Even the Azimio side was not spared. Martha Wangari Karua was once in Azimio as Raila Odinga's running mate in Azimio during the 2022 general elections. And Martha Karua fell out with Raila Odinga. And the way this happened, it happened without drama. Yeah, they kept it away from the press. They kept it quiet. But Ruto and Raila Odinga, we know, walked their separate ways. Okay? And now, Martha Karua seems to be joining with Rigathi Gachagua. And guess who's on the other side with Ruto? Raila Amolo Odinga. I'm sure you get the gist. What is happening here is that wakubwa wanapigana wenyewe kwa wenyewe. And what is going to happen at this rate is that they are all going to finish themselves. Kabisa. And what will be left are the ordinary people of Kenya. The Gen Zs, the people who are serious about a better Kenya. Folks, that is where we are going. Ay, 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 ay. I'm certain that you can now see it very clearly. That has been the trend for a long time, even before the elections. And in case you have not noticed, it is a trend that has now speeded up. And we know the conclusion is close. When the Moabites and the Ammonites and the others started finishing off each other, anybody who was watching at a distance knew how this thing was going to end. It was going to end with everybody, that whole mighty army, destroyed. And this one will end with the mighty political class in Kenya destroyed. I'm not trying to make you happy. I'm not trying to give you news that will make you jump up for joy. No. I'm just analyzing politics coldly, the way it is and the way things stand right now. And therefore, we need to prepare ourselves. Those Kenyans who will choose wisdom, instead of taking state appointments, instead of going to look for tenders in this regime, you need to get out of the way. Okay? That is what is clearly written on the wall for all of us to see. Now you still have a golden opportunity to join my weekly intelligence briefings, where you'll get a lot of highly sensitive information. Indeed, a lot of what is unfolding now, you'll find in older editions of the weekly intelligence briefings. And it will enable you to understand very clearly what is going down now. Because things can get confusing. People can get obsessed with the wrong things. All that is in my WIBs. And if you take advantage of my latest offer, only Kenya shillings 1,000, you'll be able to not only get the very latest weekly intelligence briefings, but also every single weekly intelligence briefings ever produced. You'll get all of those pop in your email. Now you can see the details in front of your screens right now. All you need to do is to M-Pesa 0701 333 our usual M-Pesa number, which goes to my assistant. And please ensure that you also text me your email so that I may send you immediately. Okay? And then also there is my very latest special report. This one is hot. This one is fire. Okay? This one is moto kuliko pasi 100 ya makaa, because it reveals details about the abduction unit you will not want to hear. Yeah? In fact, details you'll find hard to believe. Only that the evidence is there, has been staring at us in plain sight. Now, for a very limited time, you can get it for only Kenya shillings 1,900. Okay, you can see details on your screens right now. Please rush. This offer is strictly available only for 48 hours. Okay, at that very special January offer. Yeah, rush for it. Take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.